Well, technically, I wouldn't be AI. It'd be real intelligence, but puppeting synthetic bodies.
I don't know how many generations you could go through having a wife and having kids before it, unless you like you said, you grow callous over it.
Say you did live forever.
Okay.
How soon do you believe you'd stay morally good or become more or less a villain, so to speak? Hero or villain?
Hey there, Midnighters and Moonlighters. This is your closer-in-chief with a check-in. Tonight got a little weird. Big Smoke and Tech were fooling around with one of our fourth wall containment guns and somehow managed to overclock one of them. Tore a hole in the fourth dimensional space and then managed to somehow go straight through into a fifth dimensional pocket dimension. I don't know how we're even going to begin to fix that one, but it got us thinking about some really deep philosophical stuff, like the fragility of our mortal lives and how we would handle some kind of workaround for that. So why don't you head over into the break room and join us for our conversation about immortality and the implications thereof. And hey, if you've ever stopped to consider if your shift is just taking a really long time, or if you've somehow managed to also slip into a fifth dimensional space that just lasts forever, hit those like and subscribe buttons. This one's for you. Welcome to Nightwatch, everybody. This is your closer-in-chief here with the Nightwatch Security Services crew. Big Smoke.
What's up?
Jolly Green.
Hello.
And Tech.
How's it going?
And how we doing tonight, fellas?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Seasons have changed recently.
No, it's like 80 degrees outside.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about room temperature, baby.
I would say seasonings have changed. A nice full belly right now.
Yeah, It always works differently when you eat and you're tired at the same time. I have to really watch how much I eat, otherwise we go into coma, and that's not good for the show.
Right. Yeah, I remember a long time ago, talking like late teenage years, I would say I had this fascination with kind of like what we see with Alien Earth. It's like the hybrid bodies, just had full synthetic replacement of everything. I think you and I have had this conversation, Tech, a couple of times of just, full robot body. I would want my brain, because I don't believe in being able to like one-to-one translate the mind out of the brain into a computer, not without some Pantheon type shit going on where they zap your brain out and the real you dies.
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah.
And even then, it's still just a copy, But so I would want my brain in a jar, implanted into a satellite that would be able to quantum link to a synthetic body, and eventually multiple synthetic bodies as my brain advanced in being able to puppet all these different bodies and everything, and then just spread out throughout the galaxy. Just exploring and conquering.
I've seen so many different versions of what AI could be. And I don't know.
Well, technically, I wouldn't be AI. It'd be real intelligence, but puppeting synthetic bodies. Now, now on the opposite end of the spectrum, we've seen a couple of different examples of AI in human bodies.
Yeah, that's true.
One of my favorites being Bicentennial Man.
Nah, not Bicentennial. I liked the movie, but I didn't like the premise too much, because he was too busy trying to be human, and he didn't really accept who and what he was, which was an artificial being.
Yeah, he was an automaton that had a malfunction in his...
Right. And he was able to go forward with that. Instead, he was trying to become human, and to the point where he destroyed himself slowly.
Yeah, he never achieved his ultimate potential, but instead chose to... what his belief was something greater in physical life.
Yeah, and I didn't like that about him. I wanted him... what I loved most about it is that he was able to go through generations of human beings around him. He got to see them small, toddler, teenager, grown up, and die. He got to see all of that.
Yeah, about 3 generations of...
And all he wanted to do was die at the end? I mean...
Well, I'm sure he didn't want to die, but he wanted to be classified as truly alive.
He wanted to have the experience.
Yeah, well, not just the experience. Yes, there was that.
I mean,
definitely.
Simplistically, that's how he looked at it.
Well, I mean, think of it in the terms of, can you actually die if you were never alive in the first place? He was struggling with that identity of ever being alive because he wasn't an organic being. And so he wanted to be considered alive. And then, the thing that comes with being alive is you do eventually die. So, and that's how that ends up ending. But
I get that. But for me, he committed suicide. Because if he had not have made the decision to degrade his own body systems, he would have outlived his wife. He would have outlived his wife without any shortcoming or halt or slowing down to his day-to-day functioning. She would have got old, she would have got desiccated, and she would have just passed away, and he would have kept going. And he didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to be alone.
He didn't want to be without her.
Yeah.
Because he loved her. And so he decided to go without that. And nah. If you gave me that capability, I would go on forever.
Yeah.
I would go on forever. I would find other and new things. But then again, I'll never get that chance. So it's
Well, I mean, that being said, are you talking about you as the present? Like with what you've experienced up till now, you would still take that?
Well, not in this old decrepit body, no.
Well, no. I mean, just the mentalness to it, not you being your body. So I'm saying if you were able to more or less accomplish what Chief was saying.
What, get myself in a box and able to network around the world? And
or even if you
cosmos?
one-to-one into a synthetic body, would you still take that route?
If I could get into a synthetic body with some facsimile of what it is to be human, yeah, I'd take it.
Now, would you remain with the identity of being human at that point?
Well, not even...
No.
Well,
no. I mean, because I would have at least enough central intelligence to know that I was no longer human. I'm positronic. I'm electronic.
No.
So you would be taking self out of self.
Right. I would be other rather than human.
You'd be a damn strong, indestructible, and immortal version of Big Smoke.
And I would damn secure that idea of keeping it secret because I know there would be other people out there who would want to do things to me, secure me and keep me safe for my own good and others. And yeah, I'd have to just, change my name to Pango and vanish. Because I wouldn't be alive, but I'd want to exist with my own sovereignty, my own autonomy.
It's a classic kind of cutting it back to Superman a little bit there. It's that alter ego, that the protection of identity. You have to live a double life.
Yeah.
Even as a being that was basically unstoppable, if you wanted some semblance of privacy in your life, you'd have to...
Well, yeah, if I was going to interact with humanity, one thing that's for sure, if I was going to be in that capacity, I would have to leave my locale every 10 or 15 years because everybody would be getting old around me and I wouldn't be.
Classic immortal conundrum.
Yeah. I would have to. And then you'd have to figure out more clever and interesting ways to steal someone's identity because there's no way.
It's an age of information, constantly updating and being able to identify things.
Eventually you would have to go off grid somewhere because...
It's like how we all eventually figured out Keanu Reeves is a vampire.
I mean, the guy, he looks really damn good to be in his, mid-50s now?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Double check, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
I mean, the beard and the mustache gives it away. I mean, he's got gray in there, but take that beard and that gray off, he's
61 years old.
61.
I thought he was
Good
in his
Lord.
60s.
Also, he's Canadian. Did not know that.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of actors are, but it's...
Or British, yeah.
Or British, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the route that you would have to take. And no, I would not consider myself human.
See, I would go the route of accepting the concept of no longer being human at that point, but I would definitely go beyond the trying to play human bit. Like I discussed before, like one of my fantasies that I had was I would develop this like, not necessarily indestructible, but damn near indestructible body that would be multifaceted, multi-talented. You know, strength, speed, reflexes, you know, eyes and optical sensors all over, being able to perceive in all directions. You know, and a lot of the inspiration from the design that I had came from Mass Effect, in Mass Effect 2. Do you remember that DLC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember how his species had 8 eyes and they were spaced evenly around the skull so they could never be snuck up on? And you had like this very rapid, accelerated perception of their surroundings. So they always.
I wish I knew their names,
of,
but I know that they're hyper aggressive
and hyper territorial.
Well, the council tried to make contact with them because they are smart.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, it was the Solarians tried to uplift them. And they decided they were too dangerous to be uplifted because they were such an aggressive and territorial species.
The Yogg?
Yes. Yeah, that is what it is. Yep, the Yogg.
You get to fight him in the game?
Yep. Yeah, he's a boss fight in the DLC, and yeah, he is terrifying.
Just one?
Yeah. But so yeah, the Yogg, and the boss fight against him, and yeah, they're bigger than Krogan, so they're like this massive, bulky species, but super fast, and he was smart as fuck, because he was running this information broker network, and so he had all this cool tech from all these different species and everything, so he's fighting you with this big-ass energy shield and blaster fire and everything else, so he was deadly at close range, deadly at long range, and yeah, you basically just gotta wear him down through the shields and stuff, and you had to, if I remember correctly, you had to like use parts of the environment in order to weaken his armor and his tech to be able to get through to his skin and then finally take him down. But brought a lot of inspiration for the design of my future robot galaxy exploring body. Just the survivability of it.
Yeah.
All of your exposition, and all you get is an eh.
Not everybody has to agree with it. That was
for me, it's, I don't know. I mean, wow, dude.
Well, hang on. We've both been talking for a good minute here. Jolly Green.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm gonna just sit back and let's
if you were
listen to you guys.
If you were given the opportunity to transplant your mind into a synthetic body,
yes.
All right. And what would you want it to be able to do? What would you hope to accomplish with that?
Just live, survive. I'm scared of dying.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. There's
Dude,
no...
Nah.
There's
Fugazi. You gotta...
There's no...
Buddhist level of no ambition.
Yeah, there's no grand
just
plan
simple
with it.
existence.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you get bored after a while?
Maybe. I don't know. I just acquire all knowledge, I guess. That'd be pretty dope.
I mean, a lot of my motivation is just hearing as many stories as I can before I go, man.
Yeah.
And experiencing as much as I can before I go.
I just don't want to die.
Why?
I'm scared.
Of what?
The blackness.
You didn't exist before you existed.
Don't use my quote on me. That's a scientist that says that. He says, however old you are, so 1996 was when I was born. So for however long the universe has been made, well, I mean, I guess you could say when the first planet in whatever we're in, this cosmos, was able to sustain life and life was on there, you were dead up till the point in 1996. And then I was born. Something breathed life into me, whatever that would be. And when you die, what's to go to say that you will not come back? Because you were dead at first, and then you lived. So, I don't know. I just always had a fear of just passing away. I don't necessarily know why.
I can second that.
Yeah, and you're right. It would get very boring, and then sitting there if you do end up, not wanting to, you was okay with it, I'm sure after a certain point you would just want no contact with anybody because the heartbreak of losing people and watching people grow old and pass away would be way too much.
Unless you eventually got callous to it and accustomed to it. But
yeah.
I don't know, I guess for me, the idea of existing eternally forever after a certain point, and then that constant frustration of never knowing what happened before me, never being able to find that out, so there would still be that big blank aspect, right? Because I wasn't always around, I wasn't truly eternal, so everything that has a beginning has an end eventually. Eventually the heat death of the universe pops up, and then you're just going to be floating in nothingness anyways, but then you're the only thing that exists. I was about
to say that, you could say I would want to live forever, but there is a finite time where everything we understand goes away,
Well, as we understand it, but
I mean, that's so many far eons and eons and eons in the future.
I mean, you would have to be supreme in adaptation. I mean, for example, if you were born in 1901, you have to get used to the horse and buggy being slowly replaced by the Model T, and people's occupations and daily life living has to adapt from ice boxes to actual refrigeration to finally AC to the Model T to organizations for car making to be grossly ambitious and profitable in Detroit, to see Detroit turn into basically an empty husk of what it was. Just going from 1901 to say 2025, you'd have to adapt to so many different things. Radio going to network radio going to television going into the big three going to the 24-hour cycle. You'd have to get used to long distance being made through operators, the operators going to network operation, the operation going to digital, going to analog, and then analog going to digital. There's just so much. If you was going to be, long-lived or your longevity taken to the extreme, you'd have to really adapt, not just exist. You couldn't just sit in some corner of some old house.
Constantly, too. Not just, hey, I adapted to what's going on. No, constantly throughout the eons. And you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, at least every couple of decades.
So we're talking about this strictly as if you uploaded your consciousness into an AI model or a synthetic body.
Yeah, right.
So that being said, if you have the technological capabilities of that, would you not also then have the technological capabilities of selecting what all processes of your memory and emotional state
Well,
remain?
I guess the initial intention was that your mind, everything that is you, ego-wise, is transplanted into a synthetic body. I mean, that being said, you could get slightly less philosophical about it and go with the fact that a majority of your memory and emotional capabilities are affected by physical aspects of the brain. So, how much of your consciousness is you without memory and emotion? So obviously everybody has stuff that they'd want to forget, stuff that they want to make sure that they remember. But I would say that for the case of this conversation, this hypothetical situation, everything that is you is still there. No selectively erasing memories that didn't naturally fade over time.
So as I am right now, I would honestly have to pass. Now, if you were to ask me maybe 10, 15 years ago, of course, I would change my beat to, yeah, of course. But even with I echo the same sentiment that you do, Jolly, with the whole death and dying, beginning, end, what happens after. I would much rather face that in my current state than to put myself in a situation where I am essentially everlasting. And like you just put, Chief, I would still have my mental faculties because it is essentially me in a synthetic body. I don't know, because I already struggle with basic concepts. The absence of people that you've grown up with, not just in a family setting, but friends. I struggle with that now, and I can only imagine struggling with the memories that I can retain now from even early on in my childhood to put it multiple centuries later and just be sitting there in an everlasting body and have something echo in a memory from this time would be, to me, almost akin to a torture that you would be stuck with until essentially you would put an end to yourself on it. So you would be condemning yourself to an existence where at the end of it all, whether that's the heat death of the universe or a mental collapse based on all the experience that you would gain over millennia or century or, throughout the entirety of existence to human beings. For all you know, you could live long enough to see the inevitable wipeout of human life on this planet and the eventual, it turning into a dust ball in a black void of space.
Could you imagine just living so long that you forget about humanity, the place where you came from?
Exactly.
That would be great if you... No, that wouldn't be great. That wouldn't be great. To forget... I've actually watched movies where guys have lived so long that they actually forgot where they came from and how they came into being. They just know that they were there.
Just always been here.
Yeah, well...
As long as I can remember.
There was a movie called A Band from Planet Earth. It was very dry. But one thing about this guy, he was a perfect human being. He wasn't even AI. He was a perfect human being. His body had perfect regenerations. His cells replicated 100% all the time. He remembered when the Earth was one continent.
Oh, shit.
And he basically walked from one side of the Earth to the other side of the Earth. but he couldn't tell you what it was because it was so long ago that bunches of his memory is just dumped. He doesn't know what,
Yeah, because he still only has the memory capacity of a human.
Yes, and that's where I come up with the idea that you'd have to leave every 10 or 15 years because that's exactly what he had to do. He'd get married, he'd have kids, and after 10 or 15 years, after everyone got so older, he had to leave. He had to leave her, he had to leave the kids. Now, what's so interesting about that guy is that everything that he learned, everything he knew was subject to irrelevancy every 20 to 30 years. Because he was a professor at a college. And he had a degree, but the degree was like 30 years late. And so he had to keep going to school to keep himself updated to current events. He had to keep doing that over and over again.
You know, it reminds me of, have you guys seen the anime Frieren, Beyond Journey's End?
Yes.
No.
She was like that.
Yeah, she was an elf who had lived well over 1,000 years at that point, but she was part of a famous adventuring party who slayed the Demon King, classic RPG style stuff. And then the actual show kicks off after the introduction and everything of being like 50 or 60 years after the fact, and all of her old adventuring party are all old or dead.
All of them were dead except for one guy.
And the dwarf.
The dwarf guy.
Yeah.
And he was
also
on his way out.
Yeah, and he was old for a dwarf, so he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm retired. Here, take my protege with you." But so they had to go journey to where they had slayed the Demon King or some shit to check the seals or whatever, and they were going back through this town, and they're like, yeah, in order to go past this gate beyond this point, you need to have a mage's license in order to prove that you're capable of protecting yourself. Otherwise, we're just letting adventurers go off to their death. And she's like, yeah, no, I got that. And she pulls out like this old like stone fucking necklace thing that was like this relic artifact and like puts on the counter. And they're like, yeah, we haven't used these in like, a couple of decades. This is, you need to have a magic license. And she's like, oh, how do I get one of those? It's like, it'd be like an elderly person having to retake their driving exam to get their driver's license again, basically. But it was, and that started the whole arc. But she was out of the world for so long that it just, everything that she knew was
And all she liked to do was sleep and read books. And she got she was always, they were dragging all these books around with her, and they had a hard time getting her up in the morning because all she wanted to do was sleep.
Well, yeah, because she was an elf. They had the slower metabolism cycles, and they slept for longer. And
she didn't give a crap about anything else about her sleep and her books. Interesting character, and everything that she advised or taught was always in the long term. Like she basically taught her protege one trick, and she kept making her protege do that trick over and over and over again. And what you realize is that she's teaching her for years to do this one trick. Mm-hmm. And then she goes up against someone and she beats the crap out of them because all of her spells were, as a sorceress, her spells were like all low level. Mm-hmm. But she could shoot thousands of those low level spells at you, without thinking, because that's all she did was practice that one trick over and over again. And
became a literal one trick pony.
But that one trick would beat the crap out of you, though.
Yeah.
Imagine like a 20th level wizard with all 9 levels of the spell
basic
slots,
fireball,
but all you know is fireball and scorching ray. But you can max out the power on that fireball and that scorching ray. Yeah, it was her skill set, right? She knew the basics, and it's like Bruce Lee with his 10,000 kicks, man. Or one kick 10,000 times. She could do that spell more powerfully than even practiced elven mages.
And the person that went up against her, he was far more powerful than she was, but he couldn't get past her defense, and then she'd overwhelm him with her offense, and it just looked amazing. I'm like, wow, crap! Never thought of it like that. I mean, but that's the long term
sustainability.
The long term.
But I mean, the point of the show was that Frieren was learning to be more appreciative of things in the short term because the guy that loved her, the human who passed away at the very start of the show, she realized that she missed out on his entire life because mortals are so short lived because she was so farsighted that she didn't see what was right in front of her.
Yeah, and basically just overlooked him with time. Then she realizes it was decades later that she messed up. Because she had something good for an elf, I guess, when you lose out on something after for like a decade or something, or actually more than a decade, it was decades, and she never got around to the guy. Then she realizes that after he's not even dirt. He's
well, no, he was still alive when she came back around, but only for a couple more days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's no good.
Right. It was literally what it was that they went and saw this comet that was passing. This comet comes, it's like Halley's Comet. It comes around every like 50 years, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like, this is really cool, but, watching it from here, but I have a really good spot that we can see it better from next time it comes around. And she's like, I'm going to go wander off for a bit and we'll meet back up for this comet and I'll take you to this spot and we'll see it really good from there. And they're all looking like, what the fuck? Okay, we'll see you later, I guess. And then she just fucks off for 50 years, which passes like nothing for her because she's so long lived. And she she keeps true to her word and comes wandering back in and everything. And and she bumps into this old, decrepit, shriveled up old dude. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm the guy that you're supposed to be meeting back up with, who was like this young, sprightly lad. He was the hero that conquered. He was like a 18, 20-year-old, whatever the case. And now he's this old man. And he passes away shortly after she should. Like they show up, they get to go see the comet, and then they walk back, and literally a couple of days later, he passes, and she's there for the funeral, and that's when it settles in for like, oh, this is what I keep missing by just not worrying about the now and just worrying about the.
And see, that's just a small facet of what I'm referring to when I say that you would be essentially living in your own endless torment. I mean, yes, you can grow callous to it, but I mean, at the end of it all, if your memory is still intact up until that point that it subsides because you only have so much room in your head. Like I said, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd say, yeah, I'd take a synthetic body. But asking me now, no. No, thank you.
Who is it? Neil deGrasse
Tyson?
deGrasse Tyson. He says, they were like, would you want to live forever? And he was like, no. Because knowing that someday I will pass away gives me the mental and drive and energy to make every day worth it. If you lived forever, almost everything would have no meaning.
Yeah, devalues.
Absolutely devalues almost everything in your life. So you wouldn't be able to enjoy, or you could always be like, I'll do that tomorrow. I have plenty of time. And nothing would get done. He's like,
It's like if I give you $1 million, you're going to spend that $1 million. But if I give you $50 and only $50, you're going to be very selective on what you spend that $50 on.
Really spread that out good, yeah. So he was like, I find it a blessing that we have a certain amount of time because it gives me the mental focus to do what I need to do and do it the best I can.
Yeah, but I'd like to actually experience that longevity. And then if I did start to reach that particular point of entropy, I'd just switch to switch.
Yeah, you can always pull the plug whenever you're ready.
I mean, I'm basically a die-hard battery at that time. I'll just go ahead and turn off the switch.
That's why I always said I wouldn't live forever. I would live to be about 500 billion years old. I figured the life cycle of a star is probably long enough.
I mean, if you was to
just
live,
to put an arbitrary number to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you was to live with, barring extinction level events, maybe even past those, because you're pretty much indestructible, and you live past that. You live through the nuclear age. You live through mass famine events. Droughts. Cannibalism. World wars. Whatever, and you survive all that. And say
rise and fall of empires.
Yeah, you get through all that, and then you see the extinction of Japan and Korea when they just simply die off, when the last Korean and the last Japanese person die off, and then you have people who were half Japanese and half European, and then they have kids, but you never see a really pure Japanese anymore or pure Korean anymore.
For those missing the context, in previous episodes, we have gone over the fact that the birth rates of those countries are dying out rapidly because of their culture, basically.
And they're not gaining enough babies to. They're not
having kids.
Yeah, not a sustainable practice.
No. I won't live to see it, of course. I mean, I'm 55. But they're saying in 30 years, there's going to be a lot of old, unable to make baby Japanese and Koreans out there. But if you could live to see all that happen, to see the last of those two cultures die off, and there's just nothing but ghost towns where there used to be millions of people.
Who gets the land?
Oh, I'm sure.
China.
I'm sure there'll be a fight over it.
And China's right next door. They're going to move in. If they're not already
the same can be
dying
said
off.
just about humanity. You know, what happens whenever you see the last of the humans die off?
Exactly.
You know? Or, you know, whatever the next evolutionary stage after humans is. You know, it's you know,
Be
you
the
see
last
that.
thing on this planet of this era, more or less.
Yeah, you know, but it's listen, to me, I would want to experience so much and see these stories firsthand and everything. My biggest worry, my biggest concern and fear, there was an old Tumblr post talking about, you know, immortals that missed out on things. So like you finally meet an immortal that's just been around for forever, but then, you know, you're like, oh, you know, what was Jesus like back in the day? Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. I was in Ireland trapped in a well for 300 years. I missed the whole thing.
There's a show on Netflix where that happened to a guy. I can't remember the name of it. He's basically an immortal,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets trapped by a human for like 100 years. And for 100 years, he basically sat in this cage, and he missed out on 100 years of shit happening. And he was friend with another immortal, a human being that was turned eternal.
Mm.
And every 100 years they would meet up, and the guy would tell him what it was like to go through the last years of being a human. And he was like, well, how did it happen? What's going on with you in the last 100 years? He goes, oh, well, you know, I had a business and it was doing really great. And then I screwed up and got to drinking, and then all went to crap and I lost everything. And he goes, well, so you okay? He goes, oh, hell yeah. I'm just going to keep going, man. I mean,
Oh, that was
I forgot what it was though. But every 100 years he would meet up with the
Sandman.
guy. Yeah, that's it. Sandman.
Yeah,
And
I haven't
he-
seen that show, but I saw that scene where they
Yeah.
meet up in the bar. And
And
everything, yeah.
then, like, he gets trapped by this human guy who's basically trying to figure out what he is and all that stuff. And then the human guy comes around and goes, hey, have you seen this guy? And they're like, no, we haven't seen him. And he goes, oh, that sucks. Well, I guess I'll see him in another 100 years. You know? And that's what happens. He finds out, hey, what happened to you that last 100 years? Because he finally he got broken out. He didn't even escape. Some chick broke him out.
I need to see that show. It's on my list.
And it was really interesting because that guy, because death was supposed to claim him, and that guy who was, I think he was the Sandman, had he said, hey, have you ever thought what would happen to a human being if you didn't collect him at his time? And so that's what she did. She picked some random dude and chose not to kill him. Like, she collected everybody who was supposed to die. And some of those scenes where she's collecting people to die, it's like, it's messed up. Like, people were out vacationing, people were going swimming, and dude drowned and he didn't realize he was dead, and she was just collecting them as when they died. It's all messed up. But she did collect this one guy, and he was alive back in the
It's like the 1700s,
yeah,
something like that.
back in the Dark
Roll-
Ages and stuff, and people were dying of the plague and all that stuff, and he was living through all that. And he was like, "What the hell?" You know?
Yeah, I remember some of the scenes. Like it was like a montage kind of deal. It was like he would have like one really great 100 years, and then like you said, he had wife and kids and everything else, and then 100 years of just I lost it all. So I was in the dust, and he kept asking me every time. It's like, do you want it to stop? And he's like, hell no, I want to keep going. See what the next 100 years is gonna be like. It's like, and yeah, that's
he was a well-adapted guy, man, for a guy who lived. I think they were only like 600 or 700 years at that point. No AI for that guy. It was just all homegrown flesh and blood. But he best next thing, all supernatural, and he adapted to every generational cycle. Because when he first came out, he was like this bum, all dirty and gritty and stuff. And then when you see him in the present time, looks pretty damn good. I mean, he's keeping his cardio up. He's shaving. He's got nice clothes on. To think that what he would have to adapt to over hundreds of years of cultural evolution, the things you'd see, the things he'd lose, because obviously his kids aren't immortal.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically regular kids.
Yeah.
So does he stay with them until they're old and gray and die? I mean, is he just that weird eternal uncle that everybody didn't know about, but seems to know everything about their grandma and their great grandma?
Yeah, like you pop up every other generation,
Yeah.
every third generation, fourth generation.
And, there's
something
this
like that.
weird picture of you in every home of every iteration of your family, of your ancestors, because you're the ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
That would be weird as hell. Do you stick around or do you leave?
It reminds me of that that Doctor Who episode where there's that society of people that were hunting for the Doctor, and turned out it was headed up by an alien. But yeah, they kept showing like, yeah, this face keeps showing up. For the past, every couple of years, every natural disaster, this guy's there, and it goes all the way back to. And he pulls out this like old manuscript page, or like a monk writing something, and with some sketches and drawings.
And there
he's drawn in, yeah. And he's always with his blue box. But
and he's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Back when the Doctor was great.
I'm trying to remember which Doctor that was. I'm pretty sure that was Tennant. Was that Tennant or
That
Matt
was
Smith?
Tennant.
Okay.
Is this Doctor Who?
Yeah.
My pap loved Doctor Who.
I fucking love Doctor Who, man.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Yeah. Another term that guy was eternal. I mean, even when he was messed up, there was a time when he was in a cage. Was it for a year or something like that? He was
Yeah, that when he got captured by the Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Whew.
And then everybody on the same day says his name.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
He's got fairy abilities, man. If everybody believes.
Yeah.
That was some psychic field generator thing that they were
Santa Claus.
creating and directing the collective consciousness of humanity to send him his power back.
Yeah, because in the concept of time, he's eternal, but everything had to keep going one tick at a time. Like his companion, she was a G, because she was just a regular human being.
Which one? We're talking Rose?
I think it was Rose. No.
Well, at the time, that was Martha Jones.
That was Martha that did.
During that year span where he was locked in the cage.
Yeah, and she was just basically traveling the world saying, hey, at this time, you need to say this name.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, at this time, you need to say this name. And she'd get on her little boat and she'd go down the river. Hey, at this time, and this day, you say this name.
Yeah, they had to spread it manually by word of mouth because all the communication devices were down, and the Master was ruling everything. So like they had to basically build up a quiet resistance with no legible thing, but she would just go everywhere telling the story of the Doctor and what he had done for everybody and why they needed to fucking basically step up, and this is your time to pay him back for everything he's done for humanity over
that was a pretty, and like I said, over time, just 1 year. Fuck that. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to do that. I couldn't keep up the motivational drive to do that. I mean, I couldn't. But, I mean, she did.
No.
And that's why she's the best.
But see, the Doctor is a great example of how I've always viewed longevity as far as lifespan goes. Yes, there's the concern of, you're losing your loved ones and everything. That's going to happen regardless. Like, as long as you're alive, there is going to be beginning and endings of everything in your life. And so to me, that doesn't lessen the appreciation of, yes, there may be less intrinsic value, but that just depends on how you view things. If you purely look at things through the value of what they do for you instead of just appreciating the beauty of them existing in the first place.
Yeah, but it's different when you say, like, you have kids, and then they have kids, and then your kids die, and then their kids grow up, and they have kids, and then you see them die.
Well, at what point does it become so detached and separated from you, that it's...
Well, that really depends on how deep you're looking into what you've created. I mean...
And how well you value what you created. The longevity of basically your genetic code, it gets bled out because, your kids have kids and their kids have kids. And
hopefully with other bloodlines, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, at some point, say your great-great-grandchildren don't have offspring. That is officially the end of your line.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, by that point, you could have started a couple more.
You could, but...
but I mean, but then we're talking about legacy, right? So that's what you leave behind, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like for you two don't have kids.
Correct.
Okay, so...
Yet.
You say that really muted. Yet.
Honestly, almost.
Well, okay,
it's not off the table for me.
It isn't?
I'd have kids.
Okay.
I want kids.
You want kids? At 30-something?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how old would your wife be? How old would she be?
Well, I mean, hopefully somewhere around that same age.
Okay, so we're talking, in your 30s. Anything really between 30 and 35, we're talking geriatric pregnancies. So that means that it's dangerous, almost in the borderline of dangerous for her to have children. Or there will be some kind of genetic anomaly within the offspring.
A higher risk of, yes.
Yes, higher risk.
But that's never a non-zero risk.
No, I didn't say that. It's risky.
The defense.
Yeah.
Hey man, when it comes to probability, man, you know my rule.
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
It either will happen or it won't.
He's that forever the optimist. But his hackles do come up a little bit when you
Yes.
His hackles come up a little bit. What I'm saying is
I suppose I should get tired of the almost accusatory tone of like, oh, you really want to have kids this age? Yeah, man.
Yeah, this day and age.
I'm sure I completely deny the potential chance of the continuation of my bloodline, my legacy, and the possibility of directly raising. Like, yes, I've had influence on other people's lives, and that will always carry forth with my legacy. But to continue my bloodline and my name, and to raise a child, I had a great example of a father, and I've always wanted to live up to that, and I can't do that until I become one of my own.
okay. What do you think, Jolly?
He's thinking bad.
What are you thinking, Jolly? I mean, come on, man. You getting up there too. You thinking you and Miss Lovely that you have on your arm right now?
Oh, I want kids.
You think you want to procreate with her?
Yeah.
Does she want to procreate with you?
Does she know this?
Yeah, oh yeah, she knows. She knows. She wants kids too.
With you?
I'd hope to God. Yeah. We talked about it, you know what I mean? The time, definitely better than, you know what I mean, rushing into something. But yeah, she wants kids and I want kids, you know what I mean? If we're talking about the aspect of still being AI and stuff, that, like I said, that would be really hard. I don't know how many generations you could go through having a wife and having kids before it, unless you like you said, you grow callous over it. You're just...
It doesn't even necessarily have to be callous. You can still feel that heartache and that grief of the loss. But I mean, like I said, it's there already. I mean, has anybody in this room not lost a loved one or someone close to them?
Yeah, I don't see it. But if you're eternal, that means your wife's a goner. She's gone.
Yeah.
So then you see your kids grow up. And you get to see them from baby to toddler to teenager to grown up to married to having kids to elderly to them dying. But you're still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Then they die. And if they have kids, depending on where they are, when your kids die, then you have to think of, okay, it was hurtful when your wife died. It's going to really be hurtful when your kids die. Are you going to feel that same thing for your grandkids? And then when they grow up and they have kids and they get elderly and then they die.
Yeah, but at that point, it's, again,
but
how much influence did you have in their lives, right? How connected, how close were you to them? Because at that point, that many degrees of separation, I feel like it'd be no different than extended family or even a complete stranger.
Yeah, but would you be separated? See, okay.
Or am I just going to stick out eternity watching one family bloodline? Like some kind of silent protector guardian?
Well,
I mean, that sounds like an awesome comic book series. But
there have been awesome novel series and movie series. And
I beat Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewbacca was an old fool.
How soon, though, until you start running into an issue where your genetic code is the only genetic code that you are going to eventually run into?
The dominant genetic code? Or just that little piece in everybody? Genghis Khan style?
Yeah, but I mean, amplify that over millennia. I mean, eventually there would be enough of you.
Well, the strength of the genetic data would dilute over time.
Yeah, but if you're talking about at some point you would become callous to that loss, enough so that you're just procreating to procreate.
Just to not be alone and just keep pumping out kids everywhere.
We're just throwing it out there, shoot and release.
Nah, so see, I wouldn't do that. So like,
well, you wouldn't, but if you give it to somebody else, that type of ability, like say, not saying you would, Jolly, but saying if he decided to, I decided to.
It would just depend on, how things turned out with humanity, I guess, at that point. Because, we're already getting pretty close to cracking the genome sequencing and being able to modify it.
Yeah, test tube babies, sure. But I'm talking about for you.
Well, I'm talking an embryo DNA shakeup, essentially. Just you hit him with a syringe and pump him full of the green stuff. And then...
Shit him with that.
But to put the sci-fi spin to it, but I mean, depending on belief systems and such, if we assume that humanity ages back as far back as it has gone, then we all come from a same ancestor, right? So so if we assume that extrapolating going forward, yes, there would be obviously some potential risk and whatnot, but if you're doing the whole wait a whole generation or two and then move on to a different area and start a new family, new life, then there would be less risk involved. But like I said, it would be no more than what we currently run into, where if you go back 4 or 5 generations, you're very likely to run into somebody who's somewhat directly related to you, especially if you're in the same 20-mile radius that your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents lived in,
And great-grandpappy, had a mistress across town.
Exactly. So, it's that's why I think legally they only go back, depending on the state, as far as like second cousin or something like that, as far as genetic differences to reduce risk of complications and whatnot.
Well, that's a far cry from just being an AI.
Yeah, it was supposed to be AI, but then it kind of went the immortal route. Which, don't get me wrong, this philosophical debate on this has been great. I've been loving it.
If you were just some AI who didn't have twig and berries, or an AI who didn't have a uterus.
Yeah, you or the mix up of the two. Basically, if you transplant to a synthetic body, and you would have your organic mind, but then altered or enhanced with an AI component to increase.
Well, let's go with the
memory
idea.
Storage and accelerated thought processing speed and whatnot.
So, how far would you want to go if you could not procreate? If you didn't have kids?
Right, so then I'd have to become my own living legacy, right? So
have a lot of dogs, have a lot of cats.
More like visit a lot of worlds and see a lot of things for myself and
go places, do things.
Yeah, go places, do things. I would throw me on that fucking 1,000-year colony ship heading out to the Andromeda Galaxy. Fucking. Let me go find out what's really in the middle of a black hole, see where it spits me out. Let me drift through space for a couple 100,000 years until I hit on a rock. Yeah.
Nah, you can miss me with that. I'd stay on planet Firm or Terra, and I just move around until everything is either inhospitable or polluted to the point where you gotta leave the planet.
Yeah, make sure you snag that last ship out.
Yeah,
turn the lights off when you go.
Yeah, because I don't want to travel. Cause I've seen too many movies where they're on some space liner, and then they get hit by a big giant meteorite, and then they crash land on some evil planet with big giant spiders chasing you all over the place.
It was a good movie, wasn't it? You really enjoyed that movie.
It was funny as hell. I loved it.
There's a movie called Long Distance. Very hush-hush movie. I remember no advertising about this movie. It came out in 2024. It's a DreamWorks movie called Long Distance.
People in hypersleep. They're traveling across the cosmos.
Yeah, they're like 4 years out through a 6-year hypersleep journey, and the company decides to save on fuel costs by having the ship take a shortcut.
Through an asteroid
field. They end up hitting the asteroid. Ship starts crashing. So the main character, first 5 minutes of the movie, he wakes up in his cryo/escape pod,
crashing on terra firma
and getting ejected out while the AI is quickly like rapid constructing the crash suit around him, basically, and which becomes his like survival space suit. Crashes into the planet. His suit gets a hole in it, so he loses a bunch of oxygen. He's got the cheap seat tickets, so his pod doesn't have all the tools. So
he's in economy class.
Yeah, he's just all kinds of fucked up. But so it's just him, and he gets a ping on one other life form. He goes to check it out. Turns out some psycho dude who's talking about already resorting to cannibalism in the 4-year wait it's going to take after he sends this emergency beacon back to Earth, and they get the message and send their fastest ship out to get him. And then that dude gets swiped up from behind by something that's too fast to really see clearly when dude turns around, and he thinks he just gets abandoned. So he just starts wandering off again. And then he finally finds one other life signal, a woman who's trapped in her escape pod. She can't get out. Her leg is pinned. She needs help.
But he's running out of air.
He's got like 30% of his O2 tank left, and he has enough oxygen to either get to the ship where there might be more air, or get to her and she's offering air in exchange for helping her, and then they'll both get to the ship. Then as he's wandering the wastes, he ends up finding these spider web filled holes, and then there's these giant 3-legged spider things that are munching on the dead members that didn't survive impact on the planet.
And they're eating everybody. Check
that out.
It's a really good movie.
And he's running for his life basically 70% of the movie.
Yeah, so to put it in perspective, he's just an engineer. He was a music teacher back on Earth. Some dramatic exposition details, bad story happened. So he leaves Earth and he becomes he's like a hydraulics expert for mining drills. So he's like, he just does oil flushes on mining equipment. That's all he knows how to do. So
he's kind of like an Isaac Clarke without the pizzazz,
right? And immediately panics and freaks out the moment anything bad starts happening and starts running.
Without the hyper laser spanner or whatever he had. Yeah, he just...
so Isaac Clarke in Dead Space 3.
Kind of, but without the trauma-enhanced skills.
Yeah. He basically was just running for his freaking life the entire shot.
Gotcha.
And he was very much, I won't say he's a coward. He was being a typical human being.
Yes.
Overwhelming, destructive force come at you.
You run. Yeah.
You run. And
he was no more cowardly than anybody else.
Yeah.
So.
This is random as hell. Hugh Jackman, he's British, isn't he?
Australian, yeah.
Oh, Australia. Yeah, we was talking about, thepeople that there's a lot of
Canadian actors.
Canadian and
British actors.
He's like, what do you want? Or whatever, and I'm like, God, he's such a nice voice. And then it was an interview, and he's like, what I really wanted to do with his character is, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Starts talking in his native tongue.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jesus.
I still remember that one where they snuck in the bottle of gin, and he fucking it's a taste test or whatever. He just takes and he just chugs the whole bottle there in the middle of the interview.
Spider-Man kid, was that Tom Holland?
Which one? Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and
Tom Holland is not New York. He is very much British. And when I first heard him outside of Spider-Man, I'm like, holy shit!
What the hell?
Apparently a lot of people are like always surprised
Taken
at how
aback
good
by
his
that,
English accent or his American accent is.
His accent is excellent because I wouldn't have never ever, and especially when I started thinking about some of the movies when they was talking, and he's like, "Hey, remember that?" He goes, "Yeah, that was a really good movie." He goes, "No, it wasn't. It wasn't a good movie at all." And he goes, "Hey, do you remember that really old?" He's like, "Hey, I'm old." He goes, "You remember that really old movie?" And his accent was so on point. I'm like, Jesus, that is a British actor. I mean, even some British actors, they talk, even with an English accent, with an American accent, they tend to slip. I mean, Americans are worse when they're trying to do a British accent. They slip all the fucking time. But, I mean, when you get surprised sometimes, like, holy shit.
One of my favorite go-tos for that is Russell Crowe. Yeah, I definitely never would have guessed that he was
you hear him,
another Australian actor, if I remember correctly. Him and Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Gerard Butler. Yeah,
like you can kind of tell, because he's Scottish, not British. But in Greenland, he left some of the accent in.
You sure did.
But in Gamer was one of the more recent ones that I remember him being in.
Isn't there going to be a Greenland 2?
I don't know. I can look it up real quick, but I need you guys to
for
fluff
me,
while we go.
Yeah, for me, I'm going, shit. Greenland 2. I barely got through Greenland 1.
Greenland 2 Migration.
Shit.
Stars Gerard Butler and Miranda Buchanan coming back.
I barely got through Greenland 1.
Really? You didn't like that one?
I told you.
Right. It was too optimistic for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam Neill was an actor that I was thinking of. I couldn't remember.
Sam Neill's
another one, yeah.
He's from New Zealand.
He's Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. He never did convince me that he was American, the way he talks. I've seen him in 2 different movies, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, that's a switched up accent. Okay, I get it. But,
he is 71.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of older in Jurassic Park, and then, what was the other one? Was he in Peaky Blinders? He was. Yeah, he's like he was like a Scotland Yard agent or whatever.
I want to properly watch through that. Another thing I watched, and I think there's a new season out, Taboo.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
What's that one about?
Guy gets basically kicked out of the family, and he goes out and he becomes basically a pirate. Comes back. He's got all kinds of cash, and he's secretly working his way back into the area, and he's got all kinds of shit going on. He's
okay. I remember I've seen a scene that I keep seeing popping up when he comes back, and he shows up with all the money that his family, his dad supposedly owed everybody or something like that. Okay, yeah. What is that actor's name? He played Bane in.
He played Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I know what I'm talking about.
Pull it out of the memory banks. No Google required.
Yeah.
Got to flex on every once in a while.
He plays a really good part in it. But it's a hard watch though.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hard watch because we're talking not 1500s, 1600s maybe.
I love it.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, Golden Age of piracy was like the 16 to 1700s.
Yeah, so he's and he's
Cue somebody in the comments telling you you're wrong.
Right.
yeah he's got a lot,
Incoming.
he's got a lot of money, but he's very low. He's very low caste. He's not. I mean, he's
1650 to 1730.
Hey, there you go. No hate comment.
so he's hated because he's not. They consider him low brow, and they try to muscle him. But he's got enough money and he's got enough backbone to say, "Nah, yeah, you can go kick rocks. I'm going to do it my way."
Mm-hmm.
And they try to put the system on him. They try to murder him. They try to duel him, and it's either luck or cunning.
Yeah,
and a little bit of both. That he actually survives the entire time.
that, and if you want to watch something of like Age of Sail pirate, Black Flags. I think we talked about this.
Yes,
in one
we
of those.
did. Black Sails.
Black Sails.
That was not terrible. Yeah.
Black Flag was the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, sorry.
They're remaking
Which
that.
I heard about.
Are
Are they
they
remaking it?
And they're taking all the Abstergo stuff out, all the modern day stuff. It's just going to be Edward Kenway in the historical period.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Assassin's Creed, they go jump the shark often.
Oh, of course.
But when the majority speaks, they tend to listen. I gotta give them that.
Well, and like that was the biggest hang up for me too in that game, was because I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I would, besides Assassin's Creed 2, that was my favorite, was Black Flag. And yeah, the only thing that killed it for me was the fact that, like, all right, it's after Desmond Miles dies, so why do we got to keep going back? I don't give a shit about Abstergo at this point. You know, that's
yeah. So yeah, you're playing.
Clearly, neither did they.
You're playing. That's like
I don't want to walk around an office building with a special clipboard that can hack into shit. I want to fucking stab people.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I try to do I had a game. I try to do a bunch of everything in it, and they take in that one where the program's glitched. You gotta
get out and walk around for a minute.
Yeah, walk around for a minute and reactivate it and do this puzzle shit. And if you get smacked with something, you gotta restart. It's just like you said. I'm in there pulling the flintlock out, fucking blast someone in the face. Come on, lads! Storming the ship.
But yeah,
no, it's Black.
Black Flag.
Black Flags. And, taking you out of it, putting you into a clipboard, walking around like, how's it going? Wonderful weather we're having. I'm like, no, this is just...
This is not what I want.
No, I'm just... And I want to get the lore into it, but I'm like, I just want to get back into it.
For the longest time, I really wanted to learn Italian after playing Assassin's Creed 2, because like you get those scenes where it's like the cutscene stuff is like subtitled Italian, and the characters are speaking in Italian. It's like, oh, it's such a really cool language, because I had a little bit of Spanish in my upbringing and everything. Forgot most of it, but there's some similarities, and I personally like the sound of Italian over Spanish. But
with any language, if you take time, just dedicate your time, read it, watch it, and just absorb it, you'll learn it in about 8 months.
And so I had some practical fluency, at least as far as in specifically a restaurant environment with some Spanish when I was out in Colorado, and I was only out there for 6 months. I had most of what I needed down in about 2.
Yeah, if you just absorb yourself into it and don't allow yourself what they call like word for word translation. Yeah. Like you hear it, you listen to it, you absorb and go, okay, this is what he meant, and then
very contextualized.
Yeah, but if you just take it in, know what they're saying, and then you just take it back out. Then you're fine. Like I learned Spanish I learned Spanish over a number of years because I lived right at the border, and we always went across the border and did the Spanish. Okay, but real Spanish, like when we was in El Salvador, that took about 2 months, and that was just we're in country and going to the store, going to the market, talking to the guy at the cashier's office, talking to people on the street, watching the
soap operas.
Yeah, watching the soap operas and the TV and the news in Spanish without your closed caption. You'll get it like right away.
Well, and you've also got a knack for languages. That's why you were doing that in the first place.
Yeah, that too. But
anybody could.
Anybody could. I mean, so when you start hearing about
that immersion tactic.
Yeah, when you start hearing people who have been in country, it'd be Germany or Sweden or Finland like that, and you've been there for a year or two and you haven't learned anything. That's on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how we were talking about before with different dialects of even just English here in America. Like if you go spend any kind of time in another state that has a different dialect or accent, then you kind of start picking up on that a little bit.
The only place where I think that you would not have that kind of, I guess, immersion or assimilation is when you start going to places like Russia or Japan or China.
The language is so utterly different.
And there's so many different dialects. Same thing with Thailand and Philippines. So many different dialects. So you can go to East. That's how they get you. Like when you people who go to Philippines and they try to get native. To get native. They're like, hey, where are you from? Because you're speaking Tagalog, but it's not the Tagalog that I know. And you really can't talk to them because the phonetics is so diverse. So so when you go there, you have to know a lot of different languages. That's a feat in itself. When you know different language of the same language, same thing with Chinese. I mean, people always say, "Do you know Chinese?" I only know Mandarin. I couldn't tell you what other types of Chinese language there is, but there are so many of them. I mean, including the annexed part of Tibet. It's like you if you don't know those languages, you got to immerse yourself. And if you don't immerse yourself, you're just outsider watching in.
Make learning languages just a hell of a lot easier. An immortal body.
Could you imagine living long enough to watch your language become
a
extinct?
dead language? Yeah. Ooh, fucking.
Because you'd have no choice.
Was that
but to learn
Proto-Indo-European tongues and stuff that people started working on translating stuff like what they had in Alien or Prometheus specifically? That kind of stuff. Those dead languages, the dead tongues and stuff. Yeah, that would be. That'd be interesting. The curiosity part of my brain and the storyteller part of my brain would just be infinitely fascinated because it would basically be like, I always complain about being stuck in one world, but we've, like we said before, very early on in the show, through the stories and stuff that we've accumulated, books that we've read, games we've played, we've lived so many different lives and seen so many different worlds from the perspective of absorbing media. But imagine living through your own world, taking on different eras, different eons, just completely, not just different cultures, but the face of the planet changed. Imagine living through a map change. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about the guy that was walking Pangea and being around now.
Man.
Anyone tech, you look like you're spinning something.
I thought of something. Yeah. So, Chief, say you did live forever.
Okay.
How soon do you believe you'd stay morally good or become more or less a villain, so to speak? Hero or villain? After, say, millennia.
I would definitely still remain a hero.
Really?
Positive outlook and optimism wins the day every time. I believe in an objective good and objective evil, not a morally gray, everybody's got this and that going on, or a justifiable evil or means to ends.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of any of those. To me, it's always weak storytelling, right? So even if a villain has the greatest of intentions and the greatest of justifications and reasoning as to why they went dark side, like, comment, and subscribe. I could never justify what I understand as objectively wrong or objectively evil.
Okay.
So you're the hero. That makes you what, moral good?
Yeah, if we were doing a D&D alignment chart, I would definitely, not necessarily lawful good, because lawful good doesn't mean lawful nice.
No.
But, so I would definitely be more neutral good, maybe even occasionally chaotic good, because it depends on, because the lawful versus chaotic versus neutral just depends on the rule base of the society. So if the society is a mega corporation driven dystopian hellscape, then fuck the system, chaotic good. But but if it was, proper laissez-faire, capitalism, society, America, constitutional republic, as we would love for us to be again,
I think I'd be.
I'd be lawful.
I think I'd be chaotic good because especially if I'm thinking in today's terms, I think I'm chaotic because I don't see society working according to law and order. They're working on...
It's almost a Nietzschean level of might is right, kind of.
Well, not even might is right.
I know it's a bastardization of his works, but so...
Yeah.
Oversimplification of an out-of-context line.
Have you ever tried to read even the translated version of Nietzsche?
No, I had AI summary though.
Yeah.
I know it's just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
but
that's an itch that you just don't want to scratch, not unless you're really dedicated to eliminating the itch. No, I'm thinking society doesn't really work on law and order. They're working on, the best way I can say it is, this is the law, but we're not going to enforce it.
Selectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to enforce it.
It's a very class-based system.
We're not going to punish this guy over here. But you, that we know that you're a law-abiding citizen. If you park even 3 inches out of the parking lane, we're going to give you a ticket, and we know you are going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to pay for it. He's going to say kick rocks, to crumple up the paper and throw it away. You can arrest him, put him in jail for 60 days. It doesn't matter. He's getting out, and he's going to do the exact same thing over again.
Yep.
You don't want that to even happen. So 3 inches, you pay the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You probably weren't even 3 inches over, but you'll still pay the ticket because you obeyed the law.
Mm-hmm. And you believe that the law is there for a reason.
And it applies to everyone. And it doesn't. So for me, I know that's the way it's supposed to be. That's what it's written on paper. I know that's not the way it is. So I can't be, I'm not even sure that's neutral good. I don't know if that's chaotic good because I don't want to break the law.
Well, and hence we run into the classic debate of why so many people wanted to get rid of that 3x3 square of alignment charts to begin with at a D&D 5th edition, especially because it is very loosely up to interpretation based off of what each of those squares means. Like I've always seen it as like a lawful good character. That's your paladin that will smite a demon lord at the cost of lives, right? Like that's going to be that's still the ends justify the means, but with a different moral outlook of which end, right? To me, that's very much that, you're no better. You're just the other side of the coin flip from the villain kind of deal, right? So that's how I've looked at it with lawful good versus lawful evil, and that's why I say I wouldn't be lawful good.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Jolly. Same question.
What was the question again?
If you essentially lived forever in this, reality that
and
we're talking
understandably
about,
tangible forever.
yes. Do you believe you would stay good or become more or less the villain, hero or villain?
I like to think that I'd stay a hero, I'm the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure after seeing, I've been alive 29 years, and I don't like humans. They disgust me.
It's only been 29 years.
It's only been 29 years. I'm sure after seeing maybe 100 wars,
See?
1,000 million different things, and then I got a counter to your question.
Oh.
Not to your question particularly, but you were talking about, if we could live forever. Is that, okay, how long is that going to last until maybe someone doesn't like you and blows your brains out? Are you still alive or are you dead at that point? Because if you don't have a thing...
we're assuming functional immortality. You have the capacity to live forever.
Yeah. Or wars.
Barring...
Okay.
Or even if there was some deification level immortality and indestructibility.
Yeah, okay.
Survive anything, live through
I was curious on that one. I was like...
Not die.
I was curious on that one because I was like, oh man, you wouldn't last too long because ever, a million years, 1,000 years, and then sooner or later you're gonna get mugged.
Yeah, your statistical average of dying in a car accident
it
goes up significantly.
World War X will come out and they'll draft you into it.
I mean, for all I know, I have the capacity to live forever right now until proven otherwise. But smoking kills me in 20 years.
Yeah. Should have just stopped that one.
But yeah, I would like to think that I would be good. But I feel like after a long while, slowly the disgustingness of people and humans.
See, I'm already skipping that stage. I'm already at that. Listening to you two talk about it instantly cemented why I keep the stance that I do. To me, this is my own personal feelings towards humanity and society, and this is going to sound awful, but we are a parasite.
Agent Smith's approach.
We are a parasite.
Technically, we really are.
No, we're part of an ecosystem. Yes, we've outstepped our bounds as far as the natural order of things, but that's because we are a conquering and controlling type
But
species.
that inherent doesn't make it correct.
It's worked for this long now. No, we'll multiply and we'll spread.
But
and
this is coming from the optimist.
Let him go. This is good. I like the Agent Smith kind of thinking. Go ahead. What you got?
But no, I mean, all right. So just ramping up what you're talking about, Jolly. You live millennia. And you've watched wars, you've watched the atrocities that we commit on each other, which my own personal thought on it just amplifies that. How many millennia of watching more or less what at this stage in your existence, since you are, immortal, living forever, of watching ants fight each other for what? You're fighting over race, you're fighting over religion, you're fighting over words. And then you're fighting over resources as the bare minimum because you've already destroyed enough of the one domicile that you live on.
Yeah, even
at the time period.
Even if it's just that, it could be just, I don't like what he said, or he ended up, that's like back in the day, feudal age. Well, you ended up fucking my mistress, so I'm going to send 10,000 men to fight and slaughter each other just for the stupidness of, you know what I mean? You're hoping it's over resources. Yes. You're hoping it's over.
And time out. And you? What do you got to say?
So I was holding my point. But what happens if you end up living long enough to see like the Star Trek era of post-scarcity society and moving past those petty squabbles over limited resources when we become able to, spread out into the system
and transcend what they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's all fine and dandy.
I mean, because even at my lowest, and we talked before at length of how jaded our current day jobs have gotten us to a point of seeing the worst dregs of humanity, and even then, it's pales in comparison to some of the worst shit out there. First world problems. But but that being said, give me an hour on YouTube and watch enough, college kid comes home and dog is excited and happy to see him and jumping all over the place, and my faith in humanity is restored for a little while.
Seeing the cats and dogs cuddling together, and you see the cat lovingly nibble on the dog's chin, and the dog,
or like the cat getting tossed in the box with all the puppies, and they're all curious and snuggled up and warm and cuddling and shit. Yeah,
but
man.
You just said for the time being. That right there cements it. For the time being.
Well, I said for a brief bit of time, and then I need another one.
But imagine over a millennia.
I mean, as long as I keep seeing fresh new
then
cat and puppy videos.
and with your rebuttal towards, society uplifting.
In a more serious tone, I will say that I have seen, yes, a lot of despicable things happen through humanity, but I've also seen a lot of admirable traits and noble things of humanity. That. So I would say that just because the bad happens doesn't mean I can't still greatly appreciate the good that happens and still maintain that positive outlook.
But with what you had said earlier, with you could become jaded towards, watching your offspring, your wife, your children, your children's children. You could become jaded to that just as easily.
Not jaded,
callous. Yes, sorry. You could become callous towards that, but I'd imagine at some point you're going to become more callous towards humanity as a whole. Because if the possibility,
it's mindfulness and reflection. It's. I mean, with enough time, you could push through a lot of those frustrations with the pettiness of humanity. I mean, we have to do that now. I mean, because of this age of technology that we're in, we see so much on social media. We are now, quote unquote, involved in so many people's lives. I mean, they had to make a word for it of parasocial dynamics and parasocial relationships of people that you see online because they post their entire lives online. So we're all more connected and yet also similarly more isolated. Yes. But so you get more examples of the really bad, the good, the really good. So, there's this constant influx of so many lives. Case in point, if we were to take a look at it from a data point sheet, right? If you're looking at, say I'm looking at our YouTube video count, right? Mm-hmm. We get an accumulated amount of watch time based off of however many people watch a video. It's the same thing. We're seeing all these lives because we see 1,000 of them a day. So, we're getting 1,000 days worth of information downloaded all at once. So in that same aspect, if you disconnect from that, but you're living through it physically, you could, reduce the battering of of so many lives being forced into your brain, but you would still be able to see so much bad and good.
Okay, great talk. But we're still talking about longevity.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. You would disconnect so that you would get less intrusion, right? It would be.
But that disconnect is what could be the greatest factor in you viewing society and humanity as that parasite.
Well, but then you reduce the scale, right? So then you become an immortal, yes, longevity, yes, but you're only seeing on a case-by-case individual basis, not humanity as a whole. So then it just depends on how connected you stay to humanity as a whole.
Yeah, but after a while, you may not need those resources that a war is fought over, but the loss of those resources will affect humanity as a whole.
I'm hoping for this. If I was going to live a millennia, thousands of years, I would just end up by instinct. I would just... If I'm not like completely inserted into a particular time scale, I would just be pulling back. My awareness of everything would broaden. I would pull back. I wouldn't just see Tech and I wouldn't see Chief. I would pull back and I would see the town, or I'd pull back and I'd see the state.
So you'd scale up then.
So you'd be the silent observer.
Yes, you're going to have to.
See, that is one avenue to it, yeah.
Yeah, for longevity's sake. Because I don't have to see you as individuals. I start to scale back and see you as a group.
Yeah.
As a town.
Collective.
Decrease the pixel rate and increase the image
I'm
size.
watching the big picture. I'm not...
Yeah.
Because I don't have to see Hanzo, my friend, in Japan. I just see Japan. Or if I'm going to scale down, even if I'm going to scale forward a little, just a little bit of I'm coming in and I'm looking in. I'm just going to see Shinjuku. I'm not going to see I see Osaka. But then I can pull back and easily see Japan. Or if you just jump over to Seoul, I can zoom in to Busan, or I could zoom out and then zoom into Seoul, or I could zoom out and zoom into Bonggucheon, or I could just zoom back out and see Korea.
See, I would actually go the opposite route. I really would. I would want to zoom in, scale in. You're if we're talking, metaphorically speaking, the forest and the trees, right? So you're saying you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the entire forest.
I wouldn't keep an eye. I would just simply see.
You would passively observe the entire forest.
I would just see it.
I would want to be in the trees, looking at the bugs crawling through the dirt, the birds flying through the air, the deer wandering through, the hunter that's posted up in the nest. I would want to see all of it, every little detail. Learn the names of every side of every rock.
Yes, but that's the mentality of Chief. Okay, that's not the mentality of Tech or Big Smoke.
Right, we're discussing our different opinions on this.
Okay, I can imagine this fool living for thousands of years, digging through the underbrush, looking at grubs and worms.
You would look like that crazy person in the woods.
There, you said it, I did.
It looked like Radagast.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, good old Radagast.
Yeah,
Like, what's up with that guy? Just ignore him. He does this.
Too many shrooms. And he's sitting there running around in the underbrush with no pants on.
but from the humanity aspect of it, I would love to be able to see the living out the everyday lives. Hell, in TV, one of my favorite aspects of shows is like a good old slice of life, comic or show. Hell, in my writing, right now I'm writing attempting to write a sci-fi saga, and some of my favorite scenes to write are just those quiet moments between the action scenes where character development happens in these small moments, this short brief window into the life of these two characters or three characters or even one character alone with their thoughts, and it's seeing that that evolution of that character in the moment, or even just how they respond to a thing. So it's that tightening in of the zoom and the focus, and I can do that for a while, and then I can move on to the next and move on to the next, and I can just keep experiencing all these infinite stories of individuals.
We used to have shows like that. It was called Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Okay. Little House on the Prairie. There's another one called Grizzly Adams. Literally about a guy on a mountain who befriended a big giant bear and was one and partial with nature. And anyone who used to come up on the mountain and start messing up with stuff, trying to get oil and stuff, this old furry bastard would get in their way and start havoc. But he was all about peace. No, the world goes on, dude.
And I would love to see as much of it as I can. All right, one last philosophical point that I really wanted to make that I've been kind of sitting on for the past half hour now.
What? Half hour? I must hear this.
It's kind of almost this Buddhist approach of when it comes to my life and my purpose, right? Even if my life ends up being is this passive observer, and that my life is not truly my own, I'm just holding on to it for a while, right? Complete separation of ownership. If we're talking about an immortal body that can survive anything, you no longer need food, water, air, all that stuff. You're going to survive regardless, and you truly become a passive observer. In my mind, the time scale no longer matters at that point. I mean, I have a hard time grasping time anyways. We've discussed before, it's all an illusion, but it's measured out in time between meals, time between day and night cycles, that kind of thing, even just mentally. But if you take away that need to focus on the day to day, the minute to minute, the second to second, and you're able to span that out, to me it's not that much different than how I'm already living my life now. I'm already observing one life at a time, my own, and interacting with a few select individuals, the people around me, my family and friends and my coworkers, and then, passively observing the goings on about the world, through the, media and news and such that we get leaked to us from time to time. That's already what I'm doing now. I would just be zooming out. So
this is a nice little rabbit hole we popped down.
Yeah. So as far as the deep end of the psychological of why I would be able to tolerate or endure or even enjoy a very long-lived lifespan and not go full supervillain or jaded against all of humanity is because, I really can, see a sunbeam through a dust cloud and see beauty in that. And then also the beauty of a building being constructed over, a couple of years, or a city building up over a decade, or the growth of humanity, eventually, hopefully one day spreading out into the stars and, and outliving our own solar system potentially. Good old Doctor Who style.
Not even necessarily evil. I just feel like you'd go insane of the goings on, like you were saying, the ridiculousness of stuff. It would just drive you mad. Not even to be like, oh, these sick son of a bitches, I want to kill them all.
Exactly the point.
It's just sitting there and constantly seeing this stuff. Even though you try to zoom in and find the best. So I love what you said. Trying to find the best in humanity, trying to find the best in nature, and the very small, minute things that people overlook. I feel like it's going to be just a number of things that you're trying to, oh man, I just got to forget about that. And there's a number, and there's going to be one big one that just finally snaps you. And necessarily not even choosing to be evil, but you would just lose your mind. And what that means, you become a hermit and you go into the woods and eat shrooms all day, or you just totally lose it.
All I'm saying is Obi-Wan Kenobi could put Anakin down. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe, people.
But does that sufficiently answer your question from my perspective, Tech?
Not at all. Really. Ooh. As somebody that has known you for almost going on 2 decades, and watching the throes of the insanity to the madness that you do, with which I will say is both good and bad. You have turned some bad situations into some good ones. You've had some bad situations that you've put off and seen where they land.
Yeah, consequences.
And you've grown from it, don't get me wrong. Not taking away from advancement and growth that you make. Mm-hmm. But I have watched you go from 1 minute being jovial, happy, optimistic, to one inconvenience shutting you down. And you're talking about living for a millennia where you no longer can rely on the stimuli of coworkers, friends, family.
To be fair, it's because I ride that fine line of one inconvenience or mild thing that I miss could lead to me losing my car, losing my job, losing my house,
Exactly.
So that is on me of making those poor decisions over time. But like you said, I am growing. I've become much more stable now, mostly because I don't have the privilege of or the opportunity that I used to have. Back in the day when I was first starting out as a driver, yes. If I crashed a car or if the car ran out of oil and I blew up the motor and my brother almost kills me for a third time, then I could scrap that car, and with the money that I would get from scrapping it would be enough to cover a down payment for the next car.
True.
Nowadays, I almost broke myself trying to recover from getting my car out of repossession. And if it wasn't for the fact that my parents were able to help me out with that, I would not have a vehicle right now. I would be back to square one a year and a half ago of bumming rides to and from work again. And
that's, a situation that I've dedicated my time and efforts to making sure it doesn't happen. So now I'm keeping the upkeep on the vehicle, making sure I'm making those payments. I've cut out half of my caffeine budget, 90% of my DoorDash budget. I'm watching Hulu with ads now.
Wow. It's kind of like...
I know that sounds like such a fucking first world problem.
I was going to say, that's such a third...
It is a first world problem.
But I was trying to watch
decisions. It is...
It's priorities. Is what
decisions.
It's
decisions. Do I do this? Can I order this? Should I buy condoms? Decisions. Decisions. It's stuff that you don't make when you're a kid that you have to make as an adult. And hell, even into your adulthood, you have to make real decisions. And it's funny, we see this every day. I crack up when I go to the store and people just start letting you know little things about their life, and it's easy to go, wow, man. So you're sleeping with your next door neighbor's wife. We're in the Kroger store and you're telling me that you're banging your next door neighbor's what?
It's like 3 people within 15 feet of us probably know who that is. And they're going to find out.
Like, can I tell you something, man? Yeah, dude, tell me. Stop sleeping with your next door neighbor's wife. No, you fucking with me. No! You need to stop doing it. This is a bad idea. Because if he finds out, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. Or you're going to kill him. And that means you're going to go to prison.
Big Smoke, don't go to prison.
And you look too delicious to go to prison. Okay?
Have you watched The Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime?
No.
Man, it's really good. You remember the Critical Role show? I was super obsessed with.
I know exactly what show you're talking about. I just never
very worth it.
Scanlan. That dude is awesome.
Can't go to prison. Too delicious for prison.
It's too delicious.
He's been quoting it ever since that episode aired, man.
I swear to God, that is the most epic scene. Because I feel the same way. I can't go to prison. and there are tons of times when I'm going, I want to hit this fool in the face. I really do. I think he's never been hit in the face. That's why he's talking this gibberish right now. He needs to be hit in the face. And I think I could hit him with the sufficient amount of force to make him regret talking to me like this.
Make him knock some sense into him, literally.
But then I'll go to jail. They'll confine me. They'll take my shoes. They'll take my socks. They'll take my knife away from me. And then it's just me fighting all these horny, heterofluid men who've been locked up for years at a time. I can't fight them all off. I'm too delicious. I'm too delicious. They're going to want that booty. And there's like 6 of them, and there's only 1 of me, and I got to sleep. Okay, we don't punch him in the face, because I can't. I can't punch him in the face, because then I don't want to go through all that. Right. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to county. I don't want to go to lockup. I'm too delicious. I can't go. So he lives. He lives because I don't want. Because they're going to call the police on me. They won't let me off. I can't just hit somebody in the face and go walk to my car and drive away. No, they're going to come get me. Because, oh, God, that big guy, he's going to get him. Yeah, and Big Smoke ain't going to jail. He's not doing it. And that is why I'm not going to break the law. I'm not going to break the law.
Yeah, but you could, just wait out that prison sentence, no problem, if you had an immortal body.
Could you imagine that end up being forgotten, put you at the very last cell, in the very bottom, and just leave you?
I once read a book. It was about the Roman soldier who speared Jesus through the side. Mm-hmm. His name was Casca Longinus. And they give you the perspective from Casca's point of view. He's on guard duty, guarding Jesus, as he's hanging on the cross. And he's about to do the rotation for a shift, but he can't leave the shift until the so-called Messiah dies. So he's going to help the Messiah pass on. So he's going to stab him through the side with his spear, which now is known through all kinds of
destiny.
Yeah, so he stabs him with the spear, and Jesus' blood runs down the spear onto his hands, and he wipes his face, more or less his lip, and he gets Jesus' blood in his mouth, and he goes through all kinds of convulsions and stuff. And
the first vampire.
And Jesus telepathically looks at him and goes, okay, since you are so pressed for time, you will remain as you are until I return. And he becomes immortal. He cannot die. He can feel pain. He can be poisoned. He can die for a short moment of time, but he always resurrects.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back no matter what you do to him. He's been sacrificed by the Mayan gods. They actually cut his heart out. He grabs his heart and puts it back in and falls down the pyramid. They don't touch him after that because they're okay. This is a demon. We don't want to mess with this guy. He's had his hand cut off. He's been partially beheaded. He's lived through the plague multiple times because he dies every time he's infected, and then he comes back.
Well, that'd be awful.
I would watch that show.
Yeah. Okay. And they're like back. He gets in trouble with the legions because he's messing around with someone else's wife or girlfriend, actually, and they kill him. Well, they stab him through the stomach, which almost kills him. He bleeds out, but he resurrects right away. Then he kills the other guy. So he goes to prison. He has basically a freaking shackle point on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the mines where typically slaves die within 2 or 3 months. He's in there so long that they forget who he is.
He's just more or less scenery at this point.
He's more than senior. People are deathly afraid of him because every batch of new slaves comes in. They come in, they work to death, and he's still hitting his pickaxe. He's just doing the thing. He can't die, and he never gets any older. And people, even the guards, are afraid of him. They just simply call him the Ancient because by this time he's down there tens of years. I never want to be that. Mm-mm. Well, in today's society, you probably could. If someone gives you concurrent life sentences, some life sentences are 80 years, and you're a regular prisoner, and you're in the regular prison system for 160 years, eventually they got to let you out.
Yeah. Served your time.
You served your time.
Sorry, the story was kind of sounding familiar, and so I looked it up. There's a show from 2014 called Forever. And it was a medical examiner that was he was first killed 200 years ago trying to treat a slave aboard a slave trade ship, and gets shot and his body tossed in the water, and he ends up basically anytime he dies from that point forward, he always wakes up naked out of the nearest body of water, and the only visible scarring on his body is from the original gunshot wound. And so he's trying to use his hundreds of years of knowledge and experience and everything to solve the mystery of his own immortality.
While on the side, he's helping other people.
You imagine
it's a procedural cop drama show, so he's helping the NYPD as a
terrible dad.
You imagine how shitty that would be. You die and you wake up in your neighbor's pool. Because you're butt-ass naked.
Yeah, just as the husband's coming home.
Yeah. Explain that one.
That, or you just always end up there and it's like, bad night again, John? Yeah. They don't even know he's dying. They just think he drinks too much. Yeah, he drinks too much and ends up...
Well, it does specify body of water, so that's typically a natural water source.
Yeah,
the park.
Yeah, he usually.
Right. I think that does happen a couple of times.
Yeah, he usually ends up like on a river, or a port landing. But yeah, it's always an open body of water. That's a messed up show.
I said it only lasted one season, so
it's a messed up show.
Said the ratings weren't all that great, so it didn't get approved for a second.
But kind of like Firefly. Well, they kill that show just for principles.
Terrifying space monkey.
I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer lasted for 7 seasons, and Firefly can't last for 1.
Well, it was the officials at Fox that were doing the scheduling and stuff. They were against the show from the start because they said that a sci-fi series wasn't going to gain enough of a fan base and following. And then they started scheduling them during non-prime hours, and then a lot of the episode debut dates were...
they mixed them up.
Well, they were synced up. Well, yeah, they mixed up the episode order, but then the air dates and times kept getting overridden by, I think it was like basketball at the time. And so like I think it was like middle of March Madness or something like that. So everybody was tuning into the basketball
They did that
games.
on purpose. They killed that show.
They killed it dead on the spot, man. But yeah, but the cult following. I forgot there's the beach tower with Serenity right here.
You just realized that? Sitting here staring at it the whole time.
I'm so immersed in it. I'm literally wearing a Firefly shirt.
That's why I was like, why are you pointing out the shirt? You got it on in front of you.
Yeah, and then I've got the fridge magnet. It's the Serenity boilerplate. The board games. I got a dice game.
Yep.
But yeah, so this was a lot of fun. That's going to wrap it up for tonight's episode, folks. If you've made it this far with us, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We're going to keep putting these out 3 a week for as long as we can.
Subscribe.
I will, if I end up being, immortal until
I was
proven
just about to
otherwise,
say
I
that.
will keep pumping out episodes for all of eternity. Yeah.
We're going to find a way to all become immortal. We're going to do this forever.
We love you, Steffi.
But please follow the channel. We're going to keep growing from here, and we want that loyal fan base growing with us. Subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Nightwatch Podcast. Support the channel through our coffee page, ko-fi.com/Nightwatch Podcast. All one word. We're on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.
Don't forget to ring that bell on YouTube.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the next shift.
I'll see you later, my nemesis.
Later.
Alright, time to empty out the mop bucket, run the trash, and hit the lights. Go get off my time clock, and be safe getting home.